What is up, guys? I'm here today, and today I have for you part 2 of the Kung Fu Master class overview and guide sort of video. So if you missed part 1, make sure you go out and check that out, because a lot of the stuff discussed in that is going to carry over to this part. But in this part, we're going to go through your Tab, your Fighting Spirit, and your Searing Palm combos, and how to use them, and what they do, and why they're important, and things like that. So with that, let's start off with Fighting Spirit. So Fighting Spirit has two options. You have your Fighting Spirit, enhanced party setup, so that increases the critical chance of your party, the critical damage of your party, and gives them a sort of lifesteal sort of effect, as well as recovering everybody's focus and reducing the cooldown of your Comet Strike by 5 seconds every time a party member attacks. The other option is to enhance yourself with Focused Fighting Spirit to give you a 100% critical damage boost, the same amount of life drain, and then reset your Comet Strike every 2 seconds. So these are two different options you have. Usually you're going to want to run the Enhancer party, because you want to give your teammates the increased damage to help burn bosses or burn mobs faster. But if you are running solo and you are trying to get maximum damage on something, enhancing yourself is very useful, especially when combined with Searing Palm. So we're going to have to go through Searing Palm before we get into the enhancing yourself. But Enhanced Party, you can think of it as just a button you pop and it'll increase your DPS, or everybody's DPS. It can be comboed with other stuff, but for a generalistic purpose, we'll just show you the difference in damage DPS here. So we showed our DPS last time with all crits on the just Tiger Strike at about 16,000 damage per second. If you threw in Tremor, you got 26,000 damage per second. So now we're going to look at what happens if you throw this Tab plus Tremor plus your 2 Tiger Strike in. So we're going to Tab V and then throw Tiger Strikes in, and you see we're hit about 3,000 more DPS. And we can also prolong this for a little bit longer, so you see we're hitting right around 30,000, a little bit more actually. So with all of that, you get about another 6,000 DPS on your character, simply from adding that tab. It's an instant pop thing. 6,000 DPS, I say, on my character, but it's about what? Just doing a little quick math, 20% more damage still? So another 20% damage boost on your character is pretty useful. Alright, so we've got that. Now we're going to look at Searing Palm. So Searing Palm is a really useful skill. It gives you 100% chance to crit at maximum focus, or at maximum stage 4. So if you combine this with the enhancing of yourself, you'll be getting 100% crit chance with 100% crit damage. In addition to the fact that this increases your critical damage by 10%, and it recovers 10 focus during the entire effect. So this stacks 4 times, and once you stack 4 times, then you get the Unleashed effect, which is the 100% crit chance as well as the increased damage. And so if you look at Tiger Strike on the Hong Moon skill, so if you hit Searing Palm on something, your attacks do basically 33% more damage, and then it inflicts even more damage when you're in the Stage 4 Awaken Unleash effect. So you're looking at basically double damage on that Tiger Strike when you go into this Searing Palm thing. So it's incredibly useful. And that will be my next Hong Moon skill purchase on my Kung Fu Master. So, with that, and I have to highly recommend getting that Asura Ember for that. Anyway, so how do you stack the Searing Palm? Well, on the tooltip it tells you what skills stack it. So you have to resist using Flurry or Backstep. You have to resist using Dart Right or Dart Left. So if you, time you resist essentially, you get to use a Searing Palm. Then if you use a successful Leading Palm, if you use a critical Avenging Fist, or if you use a Shin Kick and Iron Butterfly. So those are all relatively confusing in terms of looking through all these skills and all of the different things that you can go through and pick it out. So I'm going to show you what I find to be the easiest way to get into it. And also note that there is a soul badge for this method. Where is that? Inventory. A soul badge that will give you, actually I can probably just pull it up in the Dragon Express. So there is the soul badge here that so applies a skill stat of Searing Palm Stage 1 using the Magnum Soul Badge upon a Guiding Fist. So it also resets the cooldown of Leading Palm and Roaring Tiger. So Guiding Fist is your, if you're countering and you press right mouse button, that gap closer is your Guiding Fist. So that'll give you Searing Palm Stage 1 immediately after clicking it, which helps improve this rotation, as well as letting you hit another X into a Searing Palm. But we're going to get into that right now. So the most efficient way I find to stack this, or the easiest way I found to stack this, is to start with the Guiding Fist that was just discussed. So you start with your counter, and then you lead in with a 1. So now you see X has changed, and I can select X as a skill. And it goes away really quickly, so you need to be on top of your things. So we're going to go into that, and we'll get to the next stage. So counter, fist, Searing Palm. So we hit our first Searing Palm. See, we have the buff over here now. Unleash stage 1. Next way to get into it is to press your X, and then you'll get another option to hit it. So it also, see, resets the cooldown of it here. So we're going to resist this last hit here. Oh, apparently I didn't. So your next way to get into it is with your 4, and you see now we have a third stage of it up here. So now we're at stage 3. And the final way is you see that kick comes up on your 4, you hit that, and you get a final click of it. And so now we're in the full leash, and every single one of our attacks is going to crit. So you see we're going to get crit on every single attack. So that is how you get into your maximum Searing Palm, or your stage 4 Searing Palm, for the unrestrained effect, or unleashed effect. So we'll go through that again just to show you, and I'll try to talk through it to the best of my ability, and I'll keep it slow, and then I'll do it one more time as quick as possible. So 1 into the counter for the punch. You get your palm. You hit X again to get another palm, so now you have 2 Searing Palm stacked. 4 into an X again to get your third Searing Palm. Then you have to hit a 2, you'll get the 4 Hellfire Kick, which will then let you get your 4th Searing Palm. So now you have all your Searing Palms, and once again you get into a DPS. And yeah, so there's that. That's how you get into your Searing Palm as fast as possible, or your Unleashed. It's not as fast as possible, but it is an efficient way to get into it. One of the easier ways to get into it. So we'll go through it quickly now to show you how to look at full speed. So 1 right, X, 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 4, X, 2, and then 4X, and now we're into it. And we're hitting everything with crits. Alright, so now then if you threw in a V into that, you get a little bit more damage, another 20% on top of that, and as you can see, that's how you get into a good portion of damage. So now what we're going to talk about is running that same rotation. Let me reset the boss here real quick. We're going to run that same rotation, except you're going to use the Enhanced Self Fighting Spirit. So we showed you how to get to the Searing Palm for the max Searing Palm stacks. So now if we throw the Enhanced Self on top of that, to get you the 100% critical damage boost on top of your 100% critical chance boost, we'll show you what the DPS looks like on that. So we're going to do the same way we've been doing to get into the Searing Palm max stacks. So there we go. We're about to get to it right now. So we hit it, we throw a V in, and then we hit our tab. And now you see we're hitting for 25,000s, 30,000s are in there as well. So the DPS total isn't as high in the top right because it took us more time to set this up. We had to stack all the Searing Palms and all the other stuff. But once we do get to that, we're probably hitting for about 30, 40,000 DPS just outright right there. So pretty effective method. So one more time to show you how it runs. So you're going to get into your Searing Palm. So the same way we've been doing it. And 2 into the final kick for the Searing Palm. V tab to get the damage boost. And then you see right here we're hitting huge numbers. 32,000s. The boss dropped already even faster than last time. So yeah, that's basically the idea behind the Searing Palm and tab combos there to get you maximum damage. Or if you want to enhance your party because you're running as a team player, you have the option with, oh, I'm in the chat, that's why that wasn't working. So that's your way to get into those sorts of damage. You use your Tremor to enhance your damage even further, and then if you pull enemies in while stacking all of this, you can see how you can get to some really absurd numbers using the Kung Fu Master damage-wise. In addition to this, you have your counter, which I have spec'd for threat for boss fights to keep aggro from your teammates. So you can intersperse counters into this combo relatively easily because you have 10 seconds between stacking Searing Palms. I'm just going to make sure I put this back to Enhanced Party before I forget. And yeah, so we'll lead in with 1, right? So we're going to hit our first one. Boss is attacking, so why not counter? Now we can hit our next one. And now we're going to block again, because why not? And now we hit our next one, so we still haven't taken any damage. We're going to hit our final one, and then we'll block again, and we'll get the counter. And we're in Enhanced already. So we didn't take any damage from that at all. We'll dodge this using an E. And yeah, one thing I forgot to mention on the Searing Palm before I call this a day. Searing Palm stacks off of resisting with your Q and E, which is really quite easy to do on big attacks like that. So we're just going to get into this. So if you're fighting a boss and an AoE comes down that you can't dodge, and you dodge it using E, you see right there I resisted, so I got to stack a palm, 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 and just like that we're into the Searing Palm. Hit a 4 into an X, dodge this as well, and just like that we're into it. So if you can dodge a boss's attack using your Q or E, or resist it rather, you'll be able to stack a Searing Palm. So once again, we'll do it one more time. And we resisted right there, so you see we get the stack of Searing Palm came up on our X that we... So yeah, with that, I think we basically covered the main idea behind Searing Palm and Fighting Spirit and how they're useful and why they're useful. The huge damage boosts alone should be beneficial enough to try and stack into it. And yeah, so thanks for watching, guys. Hope you found this video useful. Once again, if you missed part 1 of this guide, make sure you go back and check it out because it covers the majority of the skills on the upper half of this tree, as well as just about everything on this side as well. The only thing I didn't cover is your in-air tab grapple thing if you're just fighting regular mobs, which if you go to the list and you go to the training system here, you go to Flame, there's this key combo for Meteor Slam and knockdown joint techniques and all this. So there's the actual key combo for Meteor Slam into Pummel, this one right here. The only combo really I missed is actually happens in the training room, so you can go ahead and check that out in the training room if you're seriously missing it out. So that is basically it. Thanks for watching. Hope you found this video useful. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. If not, leave it in the comment section what could have been done better. And yeah, we'll see you at the next video. Peace.